And the problem now a little bit is there's a huge influx of these AI generated images.
Yeah.
So quite often you will pin something and then, and it shows you similar images. And I'm like looking at them, I'm thinking, it's a shame because like 70% of them are AI generated. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, it's beautiful, but it's not real. And it's also couldn't be real because of, you look at it and you're thinking you could never build it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think AI can be great when it's used in the right way, but I think it's quite dangerous certain people, because what you've got now is sometimes clients using AI to create an image.
Mm-hmm.
And whilst AI can create an image, there's no soul. There's no reason, right? I like brown chairs and I like cats. And you can put that in and it would give you an image and it has brown chairs and it has cats, right? But it doesn't mean anything. It's just pictures. It's just Pinterest.
Yeah.
It's just Pinterest gathers, but putting your Pinterest images into an image, that's one main thing.
Yeah.
And I think and that's what people always, people say to you, like, what do you think about AI? Do you think AI is going to take your job? Get that? I bet you probably get it all the time. Get it all the time, especially if people had a few drinks. Do you think AI is going to take your job?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, me personally, I don't think so, because the whole reason that most designers, and I can only really speak for myself, but I think most designers have similar reasons, is that we absolutely love it. And it's like you come for design with a soul. Mm-hmm. And it's like if you're looking at a project and I can tell you every detail about why did you do that? Why do we pick this finish? Why do we do this? Why is this at this height? There's a reason behind everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that reason may be completely practical, which is the sprinklers are here and we have to do this, or it may be completely impractical.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's because we wanted to create this arrival experience and we want to create this moment. So you built a shield so that when you come around the wall and you get that, that wow moment, which is what we're all looking for in the project, right? Can't you just use AI? And you're like, well, you can, but it's just not going to give you the same result. And it's not going to spend that time. And it's not going to be somebody sitting like me and you are. And we go back and forth, because the visualizers, they aren't just machines. They're not tools. They're people. Mm-hmm. They have an opinion. They have training. They have a point of view. And so anything that we do with a visualizer isn't just them doing exactly what we say and having no input. Like they're saying to you, this doesn't look good. This looks like this. This looks like, I'm not sure about this. And you think, actually, that does look bad. But you need that. And it's like, I think people don't understand that the visualizer as a person is not the same as an AI visualizer, because the AI visualizer, they don't talk back to you. No. But I need that. I want that. I want someone to be like, this looks rubbish. I moved from Perkins to Maris because...
Is that quite a shock?
It was a culture shock. The culture's super, super different. A lot of people have a lot of strong opinions about Maris. I personally really liked it. So dynamic. It's so loud, and there's always something going on. It's never dull. There's always something. And I just because I'm a very energetic, loud person, I think for me, I kind of thrive in those types of environments. Mm-hmm. No one's ever going to be like, you're too loud.
No.
That's never going to happen at Maris.
No, never.
They'll be like, you're not being loud enough.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, and I kind of love that dynamism that's kind of, there's a vibe and it's super energetic and super intense. And some people find it too much and they're like, oh, it's too much for me. I feel like it's too much.
Yeah.
Whereas if you like that type of thing, I think it's really good. And I think coming out of COVID, and it was to try and jolt myself out of this kind of, I think COVID brought up a lot of bad habits for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I think it was that kind of, right, I'm going to be back in the office. I want to be back in an energetic, busy environment and, lots of energetic people. And I think it was really good for that. And actually looking at design in a completely different way than I never had before. There's a slight aspect of, if you've been trained as an architect and you've gone through this very traditional, very linear, formal process, that in some type of way, your approach may be slightly better than someone who maybe has come from a different avenue. Whereas now, I actually don't believe that at all, because I think creativity, I don't think is really taught. You can be taught how to follow a process, and you can be taught how to, speak articulately. You can be, I strongly believe you can be taught how to pitch. But I don't think you can teach creativity. I think it's something you either have or you don't. And I think you can teach so many things. You can teach about how to react quickly, how to respond when a client says, I hate it. And you're want to cry, but you can't. Yeah. And I think there's so many things that you can teach people, right? But creativity, I think is it's innate, it's in there. Yeah. And sometimes you have to bring it out in people, right? And sometimes it's about having confidence and trusting yourself and saying, trust this process. Designers need to take responsibility for, they have this thing about tread lightly on the planet, right? And I think it's super key. People used to say, a design and build project, you're looking at a 2-year lifespan, right? And I really, really, really strongly disagree with that. I think that now we're not we don't want a turnaround in 2 years. I'll do your other office in a different location, but I don't want to be doing that same office in 2 years' time, because to me, then we haven't really designed it very well in the beginning. Like, obviously you make tweaks, you live in an environment, you make tweaks, right? That's just what happens. But I think if you're wholesale changing an environment that you built 2 years ago, there's a flaw, which may be the design isn't thought through, you haven't had enough time, maybe the client didn't know what they want, maybe their business has entirely changed, in which case, it's more understandable. But I think now we really strongly are pushing more towards designing for lease events. If you're taking this space for another 20 years, I want what we put in to have the ability to be there for 20 years. And there's a lot of talk now about, should we do things like material passports, where you can see the product life cycle. So if I put something in and then, facilities change hands, people move on. So how do you track the life of that product from when you put it in? So we're talking about with a couple of different companies in terms of material passports. So you can actually, when you do a building and it's a Cat A and you put all your Cat A things in, that all those lights that you might put in, that you can track how old they are. I mean, ideally you wouldn't do Cat A at all. Yeah. Because I think Cat A is a contentious issue in the industry anyway. Yeah. I didn't know that there's a whole market for, you can get everything basically secondhand. There's pre-used lights, fan coils.
Commercial.
Yeah. There's a whole secondhand market I didn't know existed. There are people, and there's so many people, and it isn't just me. There's so many people that do genuinely, truly care and are investing so much time and so much of their clients' time into really trying to find the best solution that is cost efficient, but that is also creating this amazing, healthy environment. And I think that to me has been the biggest thing in recent years that's really made me fall in love with design again, where it's kind of like, I love that aspect, and I love working with clients and for them to really get it, and for them to, when you just that moment where
educate them on the journey a little bit and help them along, and
where they really buy into it and they're like, oh my God, that's great. Yeah. And then you're saying it and you're not selling it, you're genuinely saying, this is what I believe is best for you, because I always feel like you should be designing for it. If your mum or your sister or your dad or you were working there, what environment would you want them to be in? Your baby nephew or your son, where would you want them to work? You would want them to work in a place that someone's thought about what's going into that building.